in a small hilltop chapel in Tuscany. There's a sword that juts out from solid stone. It's not a statue and not a replica, but the real 12th century blade embedded in rock. And according to legend, its wielder wasn't trying to rule a kingdom. He was trying to give up violence forever. The story begins in 1180 AD with the Galgano Guidotti, a knight known for his arrogance and temper. One day, he claimed to have seen a vision of the archangel Michael, who told him to renounce his wealth and become a hermit. As a final act, Galgano drove his sword into a stone, saying it would be as difficult as changing his heart. But the blade sank in effortlessly and never came out. He died a year later. It was eventually canonized as a saint. A chapel was built around the sword, where it still stands today. It's an interesting story, but was it real, or just a myth built on metaphor? In the 2000s, archaeologists were allowed to test the sword, and the results were unexpected. The metal was consistent with 12th century metallurgy. The style of the hilt, guard, and blade matched the time period. Even the soil and rock formations show signs that the sword had been buried there for centuries. And under the chapel floor, researchers also discovered a pair of mummified arms, possibly from a monk or pilgrim, buried as a sign of reverence. So while the miracle can't be proven, the artifact itself is authentic. And this isn't the only sword in the stone legend in Europe. Some historians believe the legend of Galgano swords may have inspired layered stories, including the famous tale of King Arthur. Galgano's act of planting a blade in stone as a vow of peace directly parallels Arthur's act of pulling one out as a claim to power. Both are tied to divine guidance, transformation, and destiny. But here's the key difference. The sword of San Galgano is real, and is still there, buried in the chapel wall, weathered by time, protected by glass, and mostly forgotten. So if this was the original sword in the stone, what else did we rewrite? It's not a story about conquest. It's about surrender. A knight who gave up war and left behind a blade no one's ever removed.